Welcome to the SImple Sophisticate podcast, where intelligent living is paired with signature style. I'm your host, Shannon Ables, and whether you're listening on your commute, exercising, working in the garden, or sitting down with a hot cup of tea or a café au lait, thank you for tuning in. Let's get started. Welcome to the 42nd episode of the SImple Sophisticate. Today we are talking about clothing. We are talking about fashion, but in a different vein. Today we are talking about lingerie. Inspired by a reader's question that I recently received, today we're going to talk about how to create your very own lingerie capsule wardrobe. Now, in the past, we've talked about how to create your own capsule wardrobe for every day for the spring and summer, and then for the fall and winter. And we've also talked about on the blog how to create a special occasions capsule wardrobe. And I'll provide links for those in today's show notes. But we haven't dived into what to keep in your capsule wardrobe when it comes to lingerie. And that's what we're going to do today. I'd like to start off with a quote by Alice Temperley. And she says, quote, "Lingerie is my next love after clothing. I think it is what is worn underneath that really inspires a woman to feel beautiful in her clothes, that inner secret glamour." And I think that's the perfect quote to kick us off because, as I'll talk about towards the end of today's episode, lingerie has been misconstrued to be all about the audience. And really, lingerie should be about the person wearing it. How does it make you feel? And ultimately, how is it the purpose of lingerie in the first place? How does it support you so that your clothes look their best, so that therefore you look your best and can be confident no matter where your day is taking you? So much like a director of a film or a conductor of an orchestra or a foundation of a house, in order for the pieces to harmonize, to shine to their fullest, or stand the test of time, the items that are often not seen or given recognition are the most essential components that without would cause the entire production to flop. Such is the power and thus the necessity of a quality, thoughtful compilation of one's lingerie capsule wardrobe. As I mentioned a second ago, this particular episode and blog post was inspired by a reader's email. And she writes, "Since listening to your podcast and reading your blog, I have a few questions I hope you will answer. Could you do a blog or podcast on how to wear luxurious lingerie? I grew up and still live in a small rural community. I pretty much just know about bras and panties. When do you wear a slip? With every dress? Do you always wear hose?" Great questions and a great place to start. As soon as I read this, I was like, we need to talk about this. We need to talk about what we should have on hand. What are the rules? What rules can we break? How are things changing? Because designers are making different clothes that incorporate all of these components that lingerie was once needed for and oftentimes isn't used for as much now. A couple months ago, I also received a question on my Instagram feed of whether or not one should wear hose and whether or not I wore a hose. And I thought that was a great question, and I addressed it on Instagram, and I will address that today as well. The key, as is with the overall approach to living simply luxuriously, is quality over quantity. And while it may take time to purchase the more luxurious items, as I will be dividing today's capsule wardrobe into the necessities and to the discretionary items, when you are able to invest in those discretionary items, choose to invest. Your skin and peace of mind will thank you. Before I get into the capsule wardrobe, I want to talk about a few things. Prior to going over this list that we're going to talk about, I want to ask you to do a quick assignment because it really comes down to your lifestyle, your body, your preferences. And the two questions I would want you to answer for yourself are, number one, consider your typical outfits for 2 weeks. What do you typically wear? What are you expected to wear? This is work day and obviously weekend as well. Then determine what type of lingerie is needed to make each ensemble shine. Whether you have it or not, start making that list. Even if you have it, add it so that you make sure you always have it on hand and in good working condition. Number two is simply go through your capsule wardrobe. This is not the lingerie capsule wardrobe. This is your tops and pants and skirts and dresses. Go through that capsule wardrobe for each season, spring and summer, and fall and winter. What does each piece require as a foundational piece? Meaning, what type of bra is necessary? Do you need a strapless? When it comes to underwear, do you need seamless, or does it even matter? Every item will determine what you need to put on your list as we go through this lingerie capsule wardrobe list. Because while I'm going to give you some necessities that you need, you may look through it and go, oh, but I don't even wear da-da-da-da, so I don't need this. And that's huge. It saves you money, number one, and you're tailoring it to yourself, which is the whole point in the first place. Now, once you've answered these two questions, you should have a list of items that you need. I want you to keep these 4 parts under consideration to ensure that you will love, feel comfortable, and wear the purchases you are about to make. Number 1, always consider the style. Will it work underneath the clothing? This is the functional part. Is it going to work with my clothing? Number 2 is cut. Is this, or size? You could look at cut as size. Is this the right size for my figure? So number 1 is style. Number 2 is cut. 3, material. It may be the right size. It may be the style that you need, but is it comfortable against your skin? Is the fabric going to make you itch, or is it going to feel like silk on your body? That's what you want, the latter. And the last one, color. Number 1, is it appropriate for your outfit? Do you need a nude t-shirt bra, or is black okay, or red? Whatever it is the look you're going for, make sure it's the right color. And then on a more personal note, is it something that you like? Does it align with your signature style? So those are the 4 things to keep in consideration when you begin to do the shopping. Now let's get into this lingerie capsule wardrobe list. As I said, I've divided this into 2 parts. The first part are the essential basics, meaning these are necessary items for you to function for everyday and special occasion use no matter what it is. Absolutely necessary. The second part of the list are essential luxuries. Discretionary items that you can live without, but when you're able to invest, they're worth having on hand for certain occasions. All right, let's get started. The first thing I want to add on our list are have 2 to 3 nude bra and brief sets. And make sure that one of those sets includes a t-shirt bra that is structured enough to appear seamless underneath what it says, a t-shirt or form-fitting clothing. And since we're talking about nudes, all nudes are not the same. Make sure this is a nude that it looks like nude on you. So that one is something you'll probably want to go to the store for until you get the company and the color down, much like finding your own foundation for your skin. Same kind of concept. Find the nude that works for you. The second item is to have 1 to 2 black bra and brief sets, and also include a t-shirt bra, a black t-shirt bra. Now, technically, you can wear that nude t-shirt bra. Doesn't matter, right? It's nude. No one's going to see it. But it's nice to have at least 2 different t-shirt bras so you can wash and wear one and then the other without overusing them. Number 3 on our essential basics for the lingerie capsule wardrobe is the underwear question. How many underwear do I really need? Again, this is going to depend on you and your lifestyle and what you're comfortable with. But my rule of thumb is have enough on hand to make it through a laundry cycle. Many people's laundry cycle is about a week. But whatever yours is, make sure you have enough to get through that. Plus, always have a few extra left over while things are going through the laundry. And the style is really up to you. This is whatever you enjoy wearing and also what works best with your outfits. And I'll talk more specifically about items you're going to absolutely want on hand. But as far as these 10 to 15, have some fun. Make sure they're decent quality so that they will last. And we'll also talk about wash here at the end of today's episode. So you do take care of them so that no matter what kind of quality you purchase, that they will last. So that's number 3, 10 to 15 pair of daily wear underwear. Number 4, 2 sports bras. Part of any woman's daily regimen is going to involve some kind of workout, whether it's 2 to 3 times a week or every day. You want to have 2 different ones so that they last, number 1, so you can have one in the washer while you're working out with the other one. And obviously, make sure that the structure and the fit is perfect for your physique. Color, again, is up to you, and what it is you're going to need it to be able to do based on the activities that you're involved with will determine what you purchase. As someone who works out regularly and enjoys, adding a bit of style to what I'm wearing. I have found 3 companies that I highly recommend you can shop for your sports bras, even your leggings and your tops and your pullovers, whatever you prefer to wear when you work out. Sweaty Betty is one, Lucy is another, and Title 9 is a third. Those are 3 I highly recommend, and I'll provide links to those on today's show notes, podcast 42. So that's number 4. You want 2 sports bras at a minimum. Number 5 is you want a nude, multifunctional, or strapless bra, or a bra that you can convert to being strapless. Top quality again, so it will last and it won't be slipping down your body. And number 6 on our list is the same exact thing, but a black version. A black, multifunctional, strapless bra. Number 7 on our list is one that just makes me chuckle for reasons of my own doing. I highly recommend 2 Spanx shorts for your wardrobe. And now, if you don't like Spanx, then you'll want to at least have thongs or seamless briefs. Anything where you can wear and the seams don't show because of whatever kind of outfit you're wearing, whether it's a pencil skirt or a form-fitting dress or a bodycon dress, something where you don't want seams to show. But I highly recommend getting at least 2 Spanx shorts. Now, why shorts and not the half slip that they make? Well, I can speak from personal experience. I thought, why do I need shorts? They don't look that great. Why don't I just get one that's like a half slip? That's makes sense. I'm wearing skirts. Why not wear a half slip? Well, the reason you probably don't want a half slip, and some of you may be able to testify this as well, is if you do any kind of walking, and maybe it's because I don't know how to use it properly. I don't know. If you do any kind of walking as much as I do when I teach, it will ride up. It will ride up and you will have to step behind a corner and shimmy it down too many times where you can barely do your job effectively. I so quickly got rid of those and bought the Spanx shorts and was so happy I did. I can't even tell you. I pretty much live in my Spanx shorts when I'm wearing my skirts to school or my dresses or my bodycon dresses. They're actually pretty comfortable and absolutely no seams. Now, the traditional basic Spanx shorts are $32. I'll provide a link on today's show notes, podcast 42, but they're available in black and nude. And there are other ones as well from Sarah Blakely, who is the owner of Spanx, all different styles that go up in price. And they will be there on her website that you will find through the link on the blog. But that one's the starting point, and it's a great one. I've been happy with it, and I'll show you how to take care of this as well as all the other lingerie items we're talking about today, because it's basically the same kind of care, very gentle cycle or hand wash. And once you put these on your list, you're going to say, these aren't that beautiful, but it's not about being beautiful. It's about making your clothes look beautiful so you can feel good in your clothes. I always think of Hoda Kotb on this one from the Today Show. Spanx alert, because sometimes you see him on her legs when she's got her skirt on and she is sitting down. But, I don't ever seem to have that problem, and I don't think many of you guys will either once you figure out how to wear them. They are worth the investment. Highly, highly recommend. So that's number 7 on our list, at least 2 Spanx shorts. Number 8 is 1 chemise. Now, I love having a handful of these for very warm summer and spring nights to sleep in. I love these. They're so comfortable, and they're beautiful as well, whether you're getting lace ones or basic classic cotton ones. They're so comfortable, and they've become my sleep item du jour in these warmer months, as I said. So I highly recommend those. The one that I recently recommended on the blog was from Nancy Meyer, and they have tons of different designs, but this was a simple, basic white chemise, and I think having one on hand, you'll find you will want more because they're very comfortable and often very inexpensive, but you can buy all sorts of different price points just based on your preference of look and style. So that's number 8, 1 chemise. Number 9 is 1 robe. We all need 1 robe that's presentable in walking around the house, and maybe not out in public, but definitely one that we feel comfortable walking around the house, to get up in the morning, to put the coffee on if we have guests. And there are different lengths that different people feel comfortable with based on your preference, but also based on how warm or cold it is, based if it's summer or versus winter. But at least have 1 robe on hand that's clean, quality, presentable, and very stylish in your own definition of style. And last but not least, I didn't forget those hose or pantyhose. For the essential list, I would highly recommend if you prefer pantyhose over bare legs, make sure you have a pair of sheer nudes. A few weeks ago, I recommended Donna Karan's nude collection, and she has 4 different shades of nude, and I will provide a link to that on today's show notes. But make sure that you have black opaque hose as well for winter and fall. Whether or not you go bare-legged or not in the spring or summer, you're going to want to have black opaque tights on hand for those days when it is too cold to go bare-legged, but you just want to wear your dress or your skirt or whatever it is you prefer to wear. Now, if you have already mastered the hose situation, you know which colors work best for you and your style. But those are the basics just to kind of get you started. Now, the question came up, as I mentioned earlier in today's episode, about whether or not one should wear hose or not. And really, this is entirely up to you. The Wall Street Journal actually, in their personal journal section, had a whole column about this. And it is shifting. It went away from hose for quite some time after the 80s, but it's shifting back a little bit. And part of it is because there's better choices out there. You may know and remember Kate Middleton became very well known for wearing sheer nude hose. She looks great in it. She's young. Why not? It makes everything look just a little bit better. And as long as it's not opaque, I mean, you want to be able to see your skin through it. It just kind of adds that little blemish buster or cover up that we need to fine tune those trouble areas that we don't like. Probably most people don't even see them, but it makes us feel more confident. So you might want to have one of those on hand. So it depends again on your preference, but if you do want a pair, I highly recommend sheer nudes from Donna Karan. Those are the 10 basic essentials for your lingerie capsule wardrobe. If you have those 10 on hand, you are sitting very well to look good no matter what you wear out in public, no matter what your age. Now I'm going to go into the next list, but before I do, I'd like to take a 1-minute intermission. I will see you on the other side. Welcome back. So prior to the intermission, we talked about the 10 essential basics for a lingerie capsule wardrobe. Now, I like to talk about the essential luxuries, or discretionary items that you can live without, but when you're able to invest, are worth having on hand for occasions. There's 5 of these items we're going to talk about today, and the first one is back to what we ended on our last list, comes back to the hose, pantyhose. So you should already have your sheer nudes and your opaque black tights. But here's a few to have on hand that you don't need, but you might want. Fishnet hose and thigh-high stockings in black and nude. Should you want to have a garter belt, that is part of what many women actually prefer to wear instead of wearing full-bodied hose. So that is, again, an option. The second one are slips. Now, many may be wondering, why did you not put this in the basics essential? And it could be there for you, depending on the clothes you wear. For many people, it's not. And here's the reason. It's because of how the designers are making their clothes these days. So often, if you buy a quality dress, it is not only the exterior dress that you love, but it's usually already lined itself. So to wear another layer underneath either would be unnecessary or too uncomfortable, and the dress wouldn't lay well, or you could be overheated because it's in the summer and it just doesn't do its job. So again, it really depends on the clothes you have, but if you're buying most of these dresses out there today, they are already properly lined for you. So long as you wear the proper lingerie, meaning either your Spanx, your seamless underwear, and the proper bra, you're going to be set. You're going to be set. But if you do want to have slips, either half slips or full slips, these are wonderful to have on hand if you do have a dress that's not lined and you want to provide some coverage. This allows the dress to hang well and it gives you some more comfort and, as we just spoke, prevents any light from transmitting where it shouldn't. Buy the color that is necessary for your dress. Maybe it's nude, maybe it's black, or as the author Jamie Cat-Cullen recommends, wear a red slip. Go for it. No one needs to know but you, and only the person or people you want to show will ever find out. So have some fun with that. Have some absolute fun. But again, it's going to depend on your clothing, and check if that dress already has a liner. If it doesn't, wear a slip. And if it's not a bodycon, wear a slip. Number 3 is to wear a bodysuit by Spanx or bodysuits by a company that you prefer that are top quality, that provide the coverage, the elasticity, and the comfort that you're looking for. Those are huge, and I'll provide a link on today's show notes should you want a bodysuit. Number 4 are camisoles. Now, camisoles can be multifunctional. They can actually allow you to wear them without having to wear a bra. So make sure you're choosing camisoles that have that insert already. If not, wear a camisole with a strapless bra so that multiple straps aren't showing to layer underneath your clothing, however you would like to do. For example, if you're wearing a sheer blouse and you want to provide extra coverage, camisoles are perfect for that. Absolutely perfect. And the last one is to buy 1 to 2 colored bra and brief sets. Colors of your choice and preference based on your interest and your signature style. Have some fun. Again, always look at the quality of how these items are made, the fabric, the texture, how it feels on your skin. You're most likely going to have to pay a little bit more for this, but if you properly care for it, you will make them last quite some time. Speaking of how to care for lingerie, it's a 4-step process. It is very simple. I provide a link to the post that I wrote a couple years ago that actually goes over it. So if you want to go over it in more detail, you can. But all it is basically, first of all, you're hand washing. Number 2, you're using cold water. Use Woolite and then dry flat on a towel. Or if you are going to do the Carrie Bradshaw way with your bras, make sure if you're hanging your bras over your shower curtain rod, make sure you're not hanging it by the strap. You do not want to stretch out the elasticity. You want to evenly place each cup on either side so it's hanging by the middle of the bra. And that's it. Hand wash, use cold water, Woolite, and lie flat. Very simple. Very simple, and they will last much longer. Once you begin to build your lingerie capsule wardrobe, it's important that you organize it to showcase it and streamline it. You want to be able to find what you need on a regular basis, and you want to take care of them so they're neatly folded or tucked away where you can find them. Rather than simply throwing everything into one lingerie drawer, purchase dividers for your underwear from Storables, and I'll provide some links on today's show notes of different options for doing that. Carefully lay out and layer your bras, and use skirt hangers for your slips, as well as the proper hangers for your chemise and your camisoles. Before I conclude today's episode on how to cultivate your own lingerie capsule wardrobe, I want to thank Erica, who wrote that email that kickstarted this post. We needed to talk about it. It's something that we take for granted, but having those right foundational pieces helps our clothes look better, as we said, but it makes us feel better throughout the day. As I shared in a particular post a few years ago on the blog, which I'll provide a link to in the show notes. And I also talk about this in the book, Choosing the Simply Luxurious Life, A Modern Woman's Guide. If you've read that book, you've found that in chapter 4, I talk about how lingerie should be worn for you, a secret you possess every day that nobody knows about unless you choose to share. And I will speak from personal experience here. When you feel, for the first time, Italian lace against your skin, the understanding of who lingerie is truly worn for will become crystal clear. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. If you would like any of today's show notes, please go to the blog, thesimplyluxuriouslife.com/podcast42 for everything that we talked about here. Now, stay tuned for this week's Petit Plaisir, where I'll talk about a simple luxury that I enjoy on a weekly basis. I'll see you in a few seconds. Before we wrap up today's episode of the Simple Sophisticate, I want to talk about one of my favorite simple pleasures, or it's almost, well, it is. It's a regular weekly ritual that I enjoy every Sunday morning. Many times on my Instagram feed, I will snap photos of what I'm reading on the weekend. And almost every time it involves a section of the newspaper, the Wall Street Journal, as well as the New York Times Sunday paper. Now, the section of the Wall Street Journal that I love to read is their off-duty section as well as their review section. The review section is just what it sounds like. It involves reviews of books, plays, anything with politics, language, technology. There's all sorts of things, arts, museum exhibits, anything can pop up, and that's why I love it. In the off-duty section, it's all about leisure, travel. They have interviews. They have ideas for fashion. This is where your style section comes up in the Wall Street Journal. So it truly is apolitical, and it's about seeing what's going on in the world, and maybe something will pique your interest, a television show, a film, a play you want to go see when you go to New York, or maybe if you're just in Washington, D.C. or Chicago, because it does recommend those as well, the ones that are off Broadway. Now, in the New York Times section, I highly recommend, obviously, the style section, but I thoroughly love the Sunday review section. It is one of my favorite sections with regards to reading a handful of different opinion pieces on all sorts of topics, and that only appears in the Sunday section. So Sunday review. Now, you may be saying, I cannot get these two national publications where I live. Now, I used to think that too because of where I live, but the good news is the Sunday New York Times will mail to your doorstep. It will probably get to your door on Monday, unfortunately, not on Sunday, but at least you'll have it to hold in your hands and read if you don't enjoy reading off your iPad, which I do read some of their articles on my iPad, but I do like to hold something in my hand. I like to sit on the couch, sit in my bed, and just relax, or take it with me when I travel. Just more than anything, so I can mark on it, so I can dog ear it and just have it with me and save it if it is something I want to keep. Now, the Wall Street Journal is mailed the day of, so you will get it that day that it is to be printed, which is very nice, and you can get it anywhere. Very nice to have either one of those if you enjoy catching up on national news and keeping you in the know, but in a way that is leisurely and relaxing. Again, a lot of my articles that I talk about or things that spark ideas come from these two sections. So if you're looking for good Sunday reading, I highly recommend the Sunday New York Times as well as the Wall Street Journal's off-duty and review section, which are available in their Saturday Sunday edition. I'll provide links on today's show notes for both of these newspapers. Just go to thesimplyluxuriouslife.com/podcast42. I hope you've enjoyed this week's Petit Plaisir, where each week ideas are shared to make the everyday all the more enjoyable. Tune in at the end of each Monday's podcast, where I'll recommend a book, a film, or a recipe, anything that is a simple pleasure to satiate your sophisticated taste. Thank you for tuning in to the Simple Sophisticate podcast, where intelligent living is paired with signature style. For more ideas and inspiration throughout the week, stop by the blog, thesimplyluxuriouslife.com, or pick up the book, Choosing the Simply Luxurious Life, A Modern Woman's Guide. Until next Monday, I'm your host, Shannon Ables. Bonjour!